This is going to be, let me clear everything out. I don't know why. This is going to be visual inputs, but only the retina to the superior colliculus, because only the mesencephalon. Remember the three issues that I have with the mesencephalon with the autistic phenotype. Eye movements, because of the superior colliculus. This is a fast relay station. And hearing, audition, which is the inferior colliculus. Remember, auditory brainstem response, wave 5, which is the last wave up until hearing gets into the subcortical areas like the thalamus and so forth. And then motor movements with the basal ganglia. We'll touch a little bit about the basal ganglia here because of the superior colliculus projecting to the basal ganglia for motor movements. So this is same kind of diagram, cartoon, if you will, from the auditory brainstem response episode, the whiteboard. So the green is the inferior colliculus, which is in the mesencephalon. The red is the superior colliculus, which is this. It's right here. And then this is the thalamus, okay, both. So contralateral, which means both sides. These little humps are the medial geniculate. And then the lateral geniculate. Medial is in the middle, lateral is on the outside. This is vision. This is vision. And this is auditory here. Remember in the autism and eye movements episode, I said that these things are spatially close, man. These are like, they could just reach out and high five each other. It's for fast transmission. So if we think about the retina, okay, I always like to draw the retina thick and dark because of the melanin. And then we have the pupil, okay. This is just the eye right here. Pretty good. It's a pretty good eye. And then there's a monosynaptic connection, not only to the thalamus here, the lateral geniculate, which is here, it's just a different angle, and the medial, but of course, the retina projects to the thalamus monosynaptically, one connection, but also to the superior colliculus, which is like this. They're just like a noodle. If this was the mesencephalon, okay? And then this is just kind of like the pons, the brainstem, okay? Sometimes I draw this connection to the lateral geniculate, which is the relay station for all vision, to, I want to do green for the projections, to lateral geniculate to the superior colliculus, which is right here. Might as well color code these. The red's got black. Is it showing up red? Not really. I gotta work on this. And then the inferior colliculus, okay? But there's about 15% of nerve fibers that go directly to the superior colliculus, okay? This is for fast-acting visual responses, okay? So we can orient our gaze and orient our head movements, okay? Because we're going to get into some of these descending fibers. So about 15% are retina to superior colliculus of the total fibers, which is still millions of fibers, okay? The rest of them go to the lateral geniculate, all right? So some of these fibers from the superior colliculus, 5 minutes already, are descending, okay? So they go down here to the rest of the brainstem. Some of these are cranial nerves, 3, 4, and 6 specifically. Cranial nerve 3 and 4 are within the mesencephalon, oculomotor and tracheal cranial nerve. Okay, this is for eye movements. And then cranial nerve 6 is down below the mesencephalon a bit, which is abducens. If you know anything about the cranial nerves, cranial nerve 6 is the easy one, abducens. It's because the eyes are independent structures, but they orient identically. like their movements are identical. If however the eyes are doing, it's just that's cranial nerve 6. And then the superior colliculus will also touch 9, 10, 11, and 12 as well to help orient the head towards wherever we want to send our vision or visual inputs. Okay. Now 10 is the easy one, the vagus nerve. That's the big one. But okay, so this is the thalamus, and now that I think about it, I don't know if we've ever drew out the thalamus like we should, probably, because we talk about it a lot. We talk about the thalamic reticular nucleus, TRN, the shell that's kind of protects the thalamus here. Thalamus is pretty big. It's a workhorse. If we would just draw the thalamus out here, let's just say it's like this angle, medial geniculate right here, and then the lateral geniculate right here. Okay. If we were going to draw, and just imagine this is cut out. Okay. This is just like a shell. Okay. Let's just say this is the TRN. This is protecting the thalamus. Let's just say this is the rest of the thalamus, but it's just cut out. And there's a strong nuclei here called pulvinar, which is receiving a lot of sensory inputs. Okay, and the thalamus has a lot of little subdivisions. Okay, so this shell is all inhibition. Remember the thalamic reticular nucleus, inhibitory neurons, and autism episode, all about inhibition. A lot of parvalbumin here and somatostatin, which are kind of the top 2 inhibition neurons. Parvalbumin interneuron is fast-acting, GABA-A a lot, and some GABA-C. And then somatostatin is more slower-acting, GABA-B. So GABA-A is anywhere from like 2 to 10 milliseconds of activation. GABA-B is 10 to 50 milliseconds, so it's kind of it's delayed. Okay, so this thalamus here, I guess we could draw it out here too, has a shell over it. It's like a security guard. Okay, if you're looking at this from the overhead view, this view right here is just kind of like from the posterior, but kind of angled. It's kind of angled down, just so we can see it. But if you're going directly overhead, looking at it like this, you could say that the thalamus is kind of like 2 eggs or something like this. The thalamic reticular nucleus is on the outside. This prevents unwanted projections coming in because the thalamus receives all sensory information, at least the thalamic reticular nucleus does. And this will filter out what can enter, because the thalamus is a workhorse. Okay, so all sensations, okay, for instance, vision, the lateral geniculate here or here. The auditory comes more this way from the ears, of course, and then inward to the brainstem, and then up. Okay, and then like mechanoreceptors, touch from the peripheral will come in through the spine and up the brainstem and into the thalamus like this. Okay, so I guess back to the superior colliculus, but here's since we haven't really discussed the thalamus in detail, we haven't really visualized it. Okay, so this shell right here is very protective, with good measure too. Good, it's needed. Just imagine sensing or perceiving all senses coming in. It would be wild. It's almost like schizophrenia does this with the delusions. They can't discriminate all the senses. And autism is very close to schizophrenia. So the superior colliculus here, it receives about 15% of the vision nerve fibers directly. So what are some of the outputs? Let's just say the superior colliculus receives some visual information. What happens next? Okay, there's a little crosstalk that it will speak within itself, and this happens fast for autism compared to typicals. The inputs going across and enter superior colliculus, and even from side to side, contralateral. With autism, it's fast, much faster than typicals. But one of the key areas that I've talked about, and it will be up here, the frontal eye fields. We have like supplementary frontal eye fields up here, and then I should just maybe write FEF. FEF, for frontal eye fields. This is right in here. So vision, superior colliculus, and deep inside the brain, deep inside, right in the middle, all the way back up to the frontal eye fields. However, it will hit the thalamus first. This isn't superior colliculus to frontal eye fields of monosynaptic connection. Okay, sometimes I draw it out as such, but here in the thalamus is the pulmonary that I mentioned. And then there's this track up here. You could say that it's here. So pulmonary here is also here. And then the medial dorsal, MD thalamus, medial dorsal. And this is also here. So here. So retina to the superior colliculus to the pulvinar to the medial dorsal to the frontal eye fields. And this is a fast-acting connection here with the autistic phenotype because the relay of stimuli into this superior colliculus and out of it is really fast for autism. Okay. And this is a big connection. So we'll go all the way up to here. The frontal eye fields will kind of help coordinate some motor movements because this is a part of the sensory motor region, which is here. Okay. And then on this back side, it's kind of angled. It's angled. Is somatosensory. S1 cortex. And then the superior colliculus will also, because this is the occipital lobe, here, V1 through V4 will happen, maybe even V5. So remember, we're just talking about the superior colliculus. Superior colliculus will speak back and forth to visual cortex 1 as well. It's kind of giving it updates. And this is happening fast as well. Okay. So let's see here. Something that I haven't mentioned so far is, I have mentioned it in previous episodes though, is the waves. A lot of alpha, beta, gamma, and low and high gamma. So this is 30 to 80 hertz, 80 plus, 12 to 30 hertz, 8 to 12. A lot of this happening in these earliest sensories is here for autism versus here for typicals, with a little spike into low gamma to help kind of modulate and task switch, orient the vision. But autistics live here. Okay, so this connection here is twice as fast, nearly twice as fast. So from retina, superior colliculus, pulmonary, medial dorsal to frontal eye fields. This is happening at around, let's see, anywhere from 55 to 80 milliseconds. Show up kind of sloppy compared to around 80 to 100 milliseconds for the autistic phenotype or for typicals. It doesn't seem like much, but that is a lot. But then the frontal eye fields will speak back down to the thalamus and also the superior colliculus. And This connection back down is slow, and this hurts the eye gaze and eye contact and so forth, and modulating eye attention. Okay. The superior colliculus will also talk to the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia are 5, if we would look at these from the back side, because it's just going to be easier to see. So we have the thalamus, and then we have the caudate nucleus up through here. The caudate nucleus is attached to the putamen. We could just say this, and the globus pallidus external and internal. Globus pallidus external and internal make kind of, it's hard to see, makes a triangle. And then below the thalamus is a subthalamic nucleus. Okay, and the superior colliculus will be, let's say, here. And then the substantia nigra here. Pars reticulata for the GABA and pars compacta for the dopamine. The superior colliculus will speak to the substantia nigra reticulata and the globus pallidus internal here. It's modulating motor movements. So the inputs coming out of the superior colliculus are happening faster. The information coming back down to the superior colliculus is delayed. So afferents are heightened, fast. Efferents are delayed with the superior colliculus. And this is hurting vision. It's hurting eye movements. Saccades, they're called saccades. The eye movements are called saccades. And this is hurting. So if we just draw out the brain here, this is the prefrontal cortex here. And then it goes up the parietal lobe. Parietal lobe is here. And the superior colliculus will also speak up to here, but mostly the somatosensory cortex here. And then this is the occipital in the back. So V1 to V5. But we only want to talk about superior colliculus, not the rest of the eye inputs, not the rest of the eyes. But just because we can hit this mesencephalon. But the big thing here is heightened activity out of the superior colliculus and delayed inputs coming back down. This is a feed forward, feedback type of movements here for eye, so that we can have attention to the outside world. Remember, the mesencephalon has 3 main goals here. Sensory integration, right? This is easy now. A bunch of sensory is happening throughout this mesencephalon. A lot of sensory connections: touch, hearing, auditory, vision coming this way. And then speaking to the thalamus, there's a close connection here with the thalamus. So it's like a feed-forward, feedback loop. And also the cerebellum. The cerebellum is here with the Purkinje cells. Lots of Purkinje cells here, which are all inhibitory. And it's kind of shutting off unwanted movements, noise, if you will. The second role is the motor movements, and that's going to be, in large part, not necessarily the eyes, but with this basal ganglia. This is the basal ganglia from the backside. And then orienting attention to the outside world. It's the mesencephalon. Fast acting in and out to orient the attention, and then slow acting back to the mesencephalon for eye movements. So there are a lot of delays happening. This is the superior colliculus. It's a relay station for vision, and it's very fast acting stuff, especially with the autistic phenotype, because there's a lot of gamma waves compared to alpha and beta. And sometimes they're even coupled. There's this thing called theta-gamma coupling or alpha-theta coupling. This is 4 to 8. This is helping smooth task switching, is what theta is doing with this background theta. So gamma is what's activated, the circuitry, the neural correlates activating, and then theta is kind of scanning all this background noise to help modulate it. So the superior colliculus is one of a fascinating brain region. Remember in the barn owls, it's called optic tectum because the mesencephalon can be broken down into three areas. Tectum and tegmentum are two of the three. The third one is cerebral peduncle. I don't know what that is, to be honest, but the mesencephalon is very fast acting relay station. It's very small, and I think that's why it doesn't subdivide, because these are three crucial roles of the mesencephalon. So evolution says no more. It has to be on point. It has to be fully developed because it needs to be. Because the living organism, remember, the role of the central nervous system is to move the living organism. And in large part, these three things is it. This is it for the living organism. The biggest roles here. Don't you think it's fascinating that the mesencephalon, which is just right here, is called the midbrain? This is called the midbrain. But if the bottom of the brainstem is here and the top of the cortex is here, in no way is that in the middle. All of this stuff that came later is just kind of helping and hurting the human because there's too much here. This is too powerful. Mesencephalon, superior colliculus, eye movements.